Welcome to the channel, everybody. So today we are going to be exploring Act 7, Chapter 3, Level 3, to be pushing towards the Paragon title. First up, let's go ahead and take a look at the team I chose to bring in, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at the path, what nodes you're going to deal with, what champions you're going to have to face, and then your boss options and what nodes they have. Then we'll go ahead and conclude this with a bit of my gameplay, see where I made some mistakes, see where I had my successes, and see what it looked like when we finished it. Right off the bat here, like I said, we are going to bring in a very unique team here. Just kidding. That was a test team I was running before I did this level. But this is actually the team that we did go ahead and go with. Mutant Heavy team. Obviously, there is a skill boss option. There's a couple other bosses that even with the Mutant Heavy team, this can still be useful. Plus, on top of that, for the path we chose, Mutant is going to be your friend. So let's go ahead and get in here and look at the path we chose. So right off the bat here, you have acclamations, which for every 5 hits on your combo meter, if you're using a mutant champion, you will purify any bleed, incinerate, or cold snap debuffs that you acquire. For every buff you purify, you will actually receive 10% of a bar of power. Next up is Triple Threat, which is where this is going to come into play even more so. The defender's basic attacks have a 50% chance of inflicting either an Incinerate, Cold Snap, or Bleed debuff on you. So keep that in mind. They also have Power Shield, which with that, your basic attacks are going to do absolutely no damage, but you are still going to be building up towards your bar of power, and your special attacks are going to do 400% more damage. They also have Use It or Lose It. Now, with Use It or Lose It, you have 8 seconds after you earn a bar of power to go ahead and set off a special, or else you will lose 20% of your max power. It will not take the full bar of power that you earned, but it will take away enough to put you down below where you were at. So keep that in mind. You want to try and use those specials as quickly as possible when you can. Also, on top of that, for any of the champions that have Power Drain in their kit that you're going to be facing, they have a 50% increased potency to that. So if they would normally take 1 bar of power, they will instead take 1.5 bars. Keep this in mind going forward in this. You're going to go ahead and face right off the bat here Black Panther, followed by Wasp, Taskmaster, America Chavez, Korg, Thing, who was pretty much the only one that gave us any kind of problem. As a matter of fact, you're going to see he is the one that gives us absolutely all the problems. But everybody else went fairly simply. Thing is just one of those ones that I have a hard time fighting against. Still working on his mechanics, but if you can get past him, this is an absolute wonderful fight. You'll see here your 3 boss options are Spider-Ham, Enhanced Spider-Man, and Stealth Suit Spider-Man. So either way, you're going to get a Spider-Verse champion. We did go ahead and go with the Stealth Suit Spider-Man. Now, on Stealth Suit Spider-Man, his nodes are No Hit, No Mercy. So if you knock him down, when he gets back up, he is going to have a cruelty buff on him, increasing his crit damage for 10 seconds. He also has evasive maneuvers, which also applies anytime that he gets knocked down. He's going to get up and have an evade charge for 10 seconds. So be aware that every time you knock him down, you want to be very conscious about those first 10 seconds after he gets up, because he's going to be harder to hit and he's going to be hitting harder. There is also Foresight, so if you're able to intercept one of his medium attacks, you will actually gain a Fury buff for 5 seconds. He also has Tenacity, which gives him a 75% chance to purify debuffs. And finally, he has True Focus. He ignores all evade and miss mechanics. So keep that in mind. You're going to want to play this a little defensively, but at the same time, do not plan on being able to easily evade him, and things like Tiger's Miss are not going to be valid. We've also included here the nodes on the other two bosses, so if you'd like to take a look at them, feel free to pause a video and look them over if you think maybe one of the other two bosses might deal a little bit easier for you, even if you do choose to go with this path. Right off the bat here, we did go ahead and bring in Apocalypse. First off, he does have the ability to build up to immunity on both the bleed and poison debuffs, as well as incinerate debuffs. So you're gonna so that was one of those things that was a little bit of a mixed bag for us, because obviously purifying them does help us, but at the same time, if we don't have to deal with them, why not just ignore them and still go ahead and keep the power gate. So you'll also see here, we continued on with Apocalypse against Wasp. That first fight went so smooth that we went ahead and did it again. As a matter of fact, like I said before, every fight up until Korg is going to go pretty much the same. You're going to see quick, easy, very little effort, and we're going to be able to let our Apocalypse just walk through just about everybody. Now, once we get to Korg, it does become just a slight bit more of a fight, but even still, we're able to take him down in a one-shot manner. Then we go over to the Thing, and that's where we're going to start having problems. I will go ahead and speed up the Thing fight, because we are going to go down several times during that fight. There were a few mistakes made, and I will talk about them a little bit more when we get there. This is a great time to go ahead and remind everybody to go ahead and smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do. We are going to be having a subscribers Battlegrounds tournament in July. As a matter of fact, the dates for that were just announced on the channel. If you're interested in being part of that, it is a tournament using only 3-star champions. Feel free to go ahead and hit me up on Discord or line chat, both of which will be in the descriptions of the video, as well as on the channel. Now, like I said here, we did go ahead and get over to the Korg fight. We did not heal up any in between any of these fights. We were doing so well. Didn't really honestly need it even for the Korg fight here. Korg is kind of a pain, because you can cause him to trigger that unstoppable, unblockable real easy if you aren't playing it just right. So that was one of those things. But we were able to go ahead and get the special 2 and then immediately get a special 1 off on him. Now, here's one mistake that I made really big. I was thinking that there's a bleed mechanic to Thing. Not that you can bleed him, but there is a mechanic that helps if he is bleed because of his bleed immunity. And so I went ahead and Horseman Archangel. I debated overwhelmingly on whether or not I should Horseman Iceman instead, or just go ahead and leave the charges on Apocalypse. I think either one of them would have been better off. You'll see here that, to be truthful with you, Iceman doesn't do all the work, and neither does Apocalypse. But between the two of them, they do more work than anybody else, and we are going to go through every one of our champions before we go ahead and just commit to the idea of Apocalypse and Iceman being the ones that we're going to finish him. Like I said, I did go ahead and speed these ones up a little bit more, because honestly, it took me more time to do just this one fight against Thing than it did all the other fights and the boss fight combined. We are only going to go down to the boss twice, and we don't even revive. We're literally just went straight through the champions that we had alive, and were able to finish him. And to be truthful with you, there were a couple opportunities even on the boss fight that we could have probably finished it a little sooner, or if we would have healed up, we could have definitely taken him in a one shot with any one of the 3 champions that we do go ahead and face him with. Like I said here, I mean, it is definitely one of those things. One of the problems that I definitely did here against Thing, but it is kind of hard to do, is the fact that with Magneto there, instead of building to the special 3 and then building the prowess charges, I went ahead and tried to do the prowess charges first. Both are a risk, just because Thing is so aggressive. And if you let him get you into that corner and pound on you, especially at this high of an attack rating, he is just going to dominate the crap out of you. So we should have really avoided that. And there were far too many times, you can see even here with Iceman, that I let him get me into the corner there. But we are going ahead and getting him down little by little here. You can see we're already down to just over 50% right now, and about to take out another decent sized chunk. The rest of this really honestly will be just us alternating between Apocalypse and Iceman to go ahead and get him finished. I do believe it takes one more time with each of them after this particular fight to finish him. But let's go ahead and play this through and see exactly how that goes. Let me know, guys. Is Thing a champion that gives you difficulty? Is he one that you find really easy, that you figured out his mechanics early on and have been able to deal with him? I don't know. I don't know why. I understand the basic mechanics of him. You can see here I push his rock count up a few too many times too far. But at the same time, I do understand that if you can get him to that 15 count and then let him do the special one, you can go ahead and get him to burn all of those charges, which gives you a little bit better opportunity to just straightforward fight him. But he's just so freaking tanky. Like I said, guys, that was one more time with Iceman. And here we are down to 14% and bringing in Apocalypse. It isn't going to be the prettiest of fights that we've done, but at the same time, you can see here, guys, just whittling away little by little. Sometimes that is the strategy, especially with champions that you have a hard time fighting. If you can take care of most of the path, but you have one or two champions on it that are going to give you a little bit of difficulty, a few potions, a few revives is nothing to be ashamed of. Obviously, we used... I don't know. I think I know I used one team revive on there and a few potions, and then we used three additional revives for Apocalypse and Iceman, or as individuals, and a couple potions each time on that. Again, here we're doing the same mistake we were doing against Thing with Magneto, and especially with him already having the magnetic advantage. If we would have played that a little smarter and got up to SP3 first, we would have finished him a lot quicker, and instead we just walked back in and dropped him with Apocalypse to get that final finish. Apocalypse did a lot of the work. Shout out to my boy Wasi out there. I know you're going to be really happy to see quite a bit of Apocalypse play. But we are done and moving on to the next level. We are rapidly approaching that Paragon title, guys. We have finished. We are about to finish up the Cavalier series, and we'll be soon finishing up this series as well. We're going to have a huge opening for July 4th. We'll be live on Sunday evenings, and like I said, guys, stay tuned because we are going to be doing that subscribers tournament in July. I'm really excited about that. I've already announced some prizes as well as other details, so make sure you go check out last weekend's live stream if you haven't already, so that you can get more details, or feel free to reach out to me on Line Chat or Discord, and I will go ahead and get you entered in. I look forward to talking to all of you, and I will see you back for the next one. Peace out.